Hello everybody, this is Scott Bradley from www.scottbradley.name, and in this video I am going to share with you something that I do in my Evernote that really helps me manage all the multiple different conversations that I have with people, what we talk about, how I keep track of it all, how I organize it, and most importantly, how it helps me be more effective and more productive in remembering things and also keeping a clear mind. But before I get into that, I want to share with you something that came up in one of the comments in my previous video about the sticky notes notebook, whether it was the delete later or the tasks or whatnot. There was someone that left a comment with a piece of feedback that reminded me about one of the features that I wanted to show you before we actually jumped into the main reason why I'm creating this video for you now. So, if you remember the previous video on sticky notes, if you haven't already read it or watched it, be sure to go back to the channel and watch the video that talks about how to eliminate all the sticky notes on your desk, all the big yellow sticky notes. But anyway, from that video, one person reminded me that there's this feature that allows you to create a list within a note, and I want to show you how that is, and if I were to set this system up for myself, where I would put it and how I would make it effective for me. I don't currently do this, but as we get deeper into these videos and as I share more about how I use Evernote and how I helps me be more effective every day, I'm still going to do videos like this based on the feedback that I do get in the comments. Another thing I want to make clear is that I really appreciate the people that have already reached out to me, that have shared with me what they do and what they're planning to use Evernote for. I've gotten a lot of great feedback, so be sure to send anything to me. I'm here, I'm listening, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have to say if you haven't already done so. Again, all that information is in 2 videos ago. The title of that video is Exciting Announcement and Alert. So go watch that video if you're not sure what I'm talking about. But other than that, let's jump into this. So as someone already said and reminded me, they told me that you could create an actual list within Evernote, and when they said, I'm like, oh shoot, I totally forgot to include that in the previous video. So I wanted to show that to you now. So if I were to do what this person was explaining, here's how I would set it up. As you know, when you first get into Evernote, you have your main notebook, and this is basically the notebook that is set up as you get into Evernote, and I like to rename this notebook as Inbox with the stars and everything, so I know that if I email something, that's where it's going to land. I believe it starts off as your username that you select, but you can go in and rename it, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. Just click this little arrow, press rename, and then a little thing pops up for you to change it. So that's the first thing that I would do. So I'd first name this Inbox. Second thing that I would do is then put today's to-dos in my inbox specifically. Now, if you wanted to create another notebook for this, you could. It really depends on how you use your inbox, whether you keep it completely clean. In that case, this would work. Otherwise, you may want to create another notebook with this today's to-dos. And this is really simple, guys. So basically, again, we're in the web version. What you want to do is click the little pencil here, and that opens up the editing box. And if you notice up here at the top, you have bold, italicize, underline, subscript, superscript, all the text-based stuff. But you have this little button here. And what's interesting is that it allows you to add as many little check mark boxes as possible. So all I'm doing here is I'm clicking, I'm pressing enter, clicking, pressing enter, clicking, pressing enter. And what's interesting about this is that you can actually put the list item 1, click there, list item 2, to do, go to the car wash, whatever it is, and you can actually come back here and go click, click, and then press done, and then it shows them checked off, and then you can come in here and edit it again, click, click, whatever we want to do here. Now what's great about that is you can also delete them, so you can go delete, 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 delete. So one of the concerns that the person brought up in the previous video about the sticky notes in the comments was, I would rather create a note with this checklist instead of creating individual notes within one notebook for all my tasks because they were afraid it was going to get too cumbersome. So I wanted to show this to you as another potential option that you can use for yourself. And the two options that the two different places that you could place this note is, again, in the inbox, or you could create a new notebook depending on your behavior and how you're using your inbox. And as you watch all these videos and we get deeper and deeper into this, you're going to find the way that your groove of how you use Evernote to be effective. So I wanted to share that with you before we actually jumped into the main purpose for today's video in helping you basically manage, like, I'll just tell you a story. As I was building my business, as I was managing multiple different conversations, everything from lead-based conversations to client-based conversations to conversations where I was talking to someone more than once, I had to find a way to manage all the notes from everything. And I actually really started with a yellow notepad. And if you can imagine, my yellow notepad, rather than having it be from top to bottom, I would switch it to be more horizontal and basically draw lines down the center of every page. And at the top of each of those sections, if you can imagine, I would have the person's name, the date I spoke to them, and maybe a couple notes about that person. And then maybe, a couple days would go by, I'd have another conversation with another person, not the same person. I'd have their notes on the next thing, and then I kept turning the pages, and it just got overwhelming, and I got to a point where I'm like, I gotta find a better way. And thank God Evernote came into my life, because it has really allowed me to effectively take notes on the conversations that I have with people and know that they're there when I need them to reference them, and I don't have to keep the information circling in my mind. So in this video, again, I'm going to show you that framework of how I set that up. So I like to call this notebook the People Pad. Okay. So as you see, go to Notebooks, arrow, People, new notebook, People Pad. And I also like to, because in some instances I may be dealing with different contexts of people. So like, say for instance, you are a serial entrepreneur and you have multiple different projects, multiple different companies, you have different conversations with people for each different company, and you want to actually like par that out and separate that out. You would want to have a stacked notebook of People Pad. I'm going to show you how I structure that right now. Again, new notebook. Let's just put this company 1, save, and then as you guys know, to stack it, you just click it, drag it on top, let it go. We're going to just name this People Pad Main, save. So as you see, People Pad Main, company 1, and then we're just going to rename this one as company 2. Okay, so again, this is if you have different contexts of people within the scope of the conversations that you have. If that is not you, I would recommend that you just do one notebook, and let's just make it People Pad Non-Serial Entrepreneur. Save. So I'm going to show this first, and then I'm going to show how I would structure this. And basically, in showing you this, it will carry over to this, and it will make sense to you. So in doing this, what I would do is every single time that I would have a conversation with somebody, again, if I was running one business, only dealt with one group of people that I was going after, whether it was leads, prospects, customers, whatever. Again, I would create a new note. Let's just say I'm talking to my buddy John. We've talked a while and we're in the process of getting into business together, or he wants to buy my services or vice versa. What I would do is I would make a note and just title this John. And how I would structure this is that I would basically say, okay, today is July 4th, 2013. Here's what we talked about. Note 1, note 2, note 3, star, website, check out. You get the idea. Now, that was my conversation that I had with John, and as you know, this pops up there. Now, going back and editing it, say that I have another conversation with John. What I do is I actually pop this line up here. Oh, actually, there's this really cool little tool here up in Evernote. It's right here. I just put this little line there. Click above, scroll down. I go, say that we talk, on July 7th, 2013. Note 1, note 2, note 3. You get the idea. Now, one of the other things that I also like to do as I take these conversations and do these conversations with people is that normally throughout the calls there are a lot of action items that come from them. So I always like to highlight them with like a star A, make sure to call person X, whatever we decided. So I wanted to share that little tip with you, that as I'm taking my notes, I always either put an A and a circle around it if I'm writing them down, or if I'm in Evernote and I'm taking notes as I'm talking to this person, that's how I kind of make it apparent to me. And you can come in here and you could bold it, whatever you want to do. So the key here is that it gives you the logical progression of the conversations that you have with these people in a reverse chronological order, to the point where the most recent conversations are on top and the older conversations are near the bottom, so you can actually see as you start going deeper and deeper with whether they're a prospect or whether they're a customer. It really is going to change depending on how deep or how big or how wide or how small or short they are based on your conversations. Now, taking it a step further, and you don't have to do this, but I'm just throwing this out there. I don't do it for myself, but depending on what business you're in and how you're using Evernote for yourself, this may be valuable to you given the nature of your business. One of the things that may be valuable to you is that I would add a tagging structure, so that you would always be able to manipulate, where say you're in a business where you're generating a lot of leads, you're doing a lot of cold reach outs, and the nature of the context of the lead changes over time. This may be able to help you as well. What I would do is, in the case of being in I have to prospect a lot of people, I have to talk to a lot of people, etc., I would do a tagging structure. And here's how I would make my tagging structure. I would put peeps would be like the main kind of category header, where if you watched the second video that I did about managing all the ideas that you get in the Brain Dump Notebook, again, very valuable video, highly recommend you go watch that. I would make the title of this tag peeps, and then I'd go prospect would be one of them. And I'm going to just press enter. That makes it a tag. Another tag that I would also use, peeps customers. Press enter. I would also do peeps vendors. And as far as I'm concerned, those are the only three that I would start with, not to make things too complex. But maybe you could also do different, deeper levels of prospects where, say, let's just delete this one for now. Let's say you have different levels of prospects where we'll just do peeps, prospect, low, peeps, prospect, medium, peeps, prospect, hot. So it would really allow you to track all of your people in that. Okay, let's just say done here. So this is tagged, and as you can see here, the tags show up at the bottom here. And so let's say that you have done a lot of this generation. Let's just put another, let's do Sally as another person in here. Now let's say that and let's just tag her with peeps. Now it's really cool because it automatically fills once you create these. And let's just say she is a medium level prospect. We're going to just say done. What's really cool about this now, if you can think of the workflow of how you're going to work, is that you can say, okay, I want to follow up with all my prospects right now. So you can click, people, whatever the notebook title that you have. Again, I'd probably recommend People Pad. And then you can come down here and say, okay, I want to see all of my low-level prospects, or my my medium-level prospects that I'm kind of working right now. Click it, boom. And John is obviously going to show up there. Let's just see the low. I only want to see low. So John shows up as a low, and if you remember, just for illustration purposes, I tagged him with that one only. But as you see here, you can kind of create this contextual CRM active, you looking at this every day. This is you working your pipeline. This is you working how you flow with people. And in later videos, I'm definitely going to show you one of my exciting, like one of my really cool ways that you can manage an entire funnel with this type of stuff. But this is just the basics for now. And then as we dive deeper, I'm going to go deeper into detail about if you really want to take this whole thing to the next level, how you can do that. So as you can imagine, again, people pad, going back to the main thing, make sure that you create each note has the person's name. Basically, make sure you do reverse chronological order. So let's say the next conversation that I have with John, he's going to, this is going to here. You have the little line thing. You can pop up and enter. Boom. This is going to be July 13th. 13th, 2013, so on and so on. You get the idea. So reverse chronological order is key. Using the tags, and you can tag this person with certain things. Again, these are going to depend on the context of your business. And mainly, one of the main reasons why I asked you guys to reach out to me, and again, that's in that previous video that I mentioned at the early part of this video, is because I am going to really go all out when I do help you. As in that video I asked you, send me the question, if you were in this business or if you were this kind of person in this profession, how would you structure your Evernote? I'm going to go deep to the deepest level in my videos for you guys to show you how I can give you that detailed nitty-gritty stuff. So again, do please reach out to me if you do want help with that. As you start getting used to these videos and kind of how my approach is, you're going to get more information to learn from, so you can change and tweak something that I'm doing and make it better for yourself. I can only be so general here because I'm giving you guys the big framework and the context. But again, in those later videos, after I exhaust all this context stuff, then that's when it's going to get really fun. So just a quick little recap here. I know that was a piece of feedback that someone wanted me to do. As you know, you have the ability to go in here and create these little to-do list items. Again, depending on whether you keep your inbox clean or it's busy, is going to depend on where you put this today's to-dos. If you have a full inbox all the time, I recommend you do a single notebook and just have it be the to-do notebook with that one note specifically. And if you remember, what's really great about this is that it would allow you to click here and drag and actually put it up in the to-dos. So even if you did have a busy inbox, you would still be able to click and drag this item up to the top left, and it would be able to show you the actual note itself, which is great. Very, very convenient here. Otherwise, you can either create a new notebook or whatever works best for you. And secondly, in the review, we want to make sure that we have each person that you talk to. Again, I'm just assuming you're in one business type. If you were in two business types, you can probably imagine how it would be done as well. And what the one little tweak that I would make is I would, let's just use Michael as an example. One of the tweaks that I would make, if you are one of those serial entrepreneurs and you are having multiple different conversations within your different companies, I would make my tagging structure peeps, company one, low. Oh shoot, low. So you can see how kind of that can go. So then the next one is peeps. Company 2, medium. So you can see how it can be going deep. Oh, this was actually, sorry, this is peeps, company 1, medium, right? So you want to keep the contextual, detailed, granular stuff in the same kind of mental framework so you can know, okay, company 1, I want to see the company 1 needs of these prospects. I want to dive deep and be able to granularly show them to myself so I can reference them and reach out to them again. Another thing, as I'm remembering, and we're wrapping this one video up, make sure to put John's contact information at the top here. So at the very top, you definitely want a name, email, phone number, and any other information that you really want there so that you can always reference it quickly if you need to reference it. And the best thing is that even though you may not have his cell phone number in your phone as your contacts, Evernote does come up on your cell phone. So you can upload, you can turn that on, log in, and if you needed that number at the, really quickly, it would be very easy for you. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I did reference a couple videos in this video, so if you haven't already watched those, please go do so. Again, I'm really serious about me wanting to help you. If you are in either a different type of business, if you're a different profession, I really am looking forward to hearing from you because I only have so much content that I can give you from my personal experience, but where the real magic happens is when someone comes to me and says, hey, I'm in this business, I have Evernote, I don't know how to optimize my experience in what I'm doing, how would you set it up? And like I said, that's when those videos are going to get great. So like I said, the title of that one video is Alert, Exciting Announcement and New Alert. So again, click at the bottom of this video, you're going to see Evernote Scott next to the subscribe button. Just click that, go to the video library, and then click that exciting announcement and alert video, and you're going to learn more about that stuff in there. My contacts information, my contact emails in there, the whole 9 yards. So again, I know this video was a little long, it was a little all over the place, but it's really all about giving you the value so that you can leverage this for yourself. Again, I really thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to the next video. I really hope that you guys like this 2 videos per week so far. I'm having fun thinking about the content that I'm creating for you guys. And other than that, I hope you have a great week and a fantastic rest of your day. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.